Just so you know, Angela was cleaning her glasses, and she says, "Well, just start the video."
Just start it. Just go.
Hey guys and gals, we're just checking in with you Saturday morning. We're taking a little bit of a ride down to Palm Harbor, Florida, and quite honestly, we're taking a little bit of time away from the business. Minnie's here sleeping, and we're going to look at boats. And so we're excited. We just finished up another week of incredible production. We ended up in the top 20 of the company, so that's fantastic. Heading for number in the top 10. And I think this week was one of the first weeks. I think we hit 100% of our production this week by our agents was virtual. 100%. I don't think anybody did turn any face-to-face business, did we?
I think you're right.
It's amazing. When it was just the opposite a year ago.
I know.
Even during COVID, we had very few people doing all virtual. We were all doing it kind of both. When somebody would kind of push back on us for face to face, then we would do it virtually, or we would sit in the driveway or sit in the yard or whatever. We were doing everything necessary to meet the client where they wanted to meet, which is still my recommendation. Virtual is fantastic. There's for a lot of reasons we talk about on this channel all the time, but at the end of the day, meet the client where they want to be met. That's the bottom line. I don't want to pigeonhole anybody into doing something they don't want to do, neither the agent or the client for that matter. So Angela, tell us about what your virtual experience has been this week. I know you had it was kind of an interesting week. If you want to call it a rough week, it was just different for your own personal sake.
Yeah, it was it was definitely interesting. Although I do have to say, which has nothing to do with what we do. Are you noticing these bear signs?
Yeah, bear habitat in Florida. I guess there's some bears. We'll leave alone.
Y'all have the weirdest stuff down here.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah, Florida's a different country.
I always say you should need a passport. And some sort of a test.
If you're in Florida, it wasn't necessarily meant to be insulting. And just
but it's
born and raised in California.
Like, it's in California, we keep certain things with certain things. And, we don't have exotic creatures. We don't have panthers.
No.
We don't have panthers.
Just a bunch of weird people.
We don't have armadillos. Like, there was a little armadillo dead on the side of the road. Did you see that the other day?
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm guessing it was an armadillo. Whatever. So my week was kind of an interesting chain of events because I really was very focused on personal production and kind of getting a lot of our newer agents kind of out of the nest a little bit and kind of a little more self-thinking and self-sufficient.
A lot of people in that onboarding process right now.
Yeah.
A lot of people, they're coming at us from YouTube and everything else.
And it's hard sometimes not to keep all the birdies in the nest. Sometimes you have to when you're ready to fly, you gotta jump. So we had a lot of agents that were kind of at that point where we kind of got them out of the nest a little bit, and so then I could focus my time on personal production, but I was still weeding through a lot of. I've got a pretty good stack of older leads that I'm just trying to bust through. I'm really just trying to either yes or no through all of them, and it just takes time. So I'm on the phones a lot more, which can be a little bit more frustrating. I mean, when you're working older leads, you're going to spend more time on the phones, and if you're not, there's a lot of things that I have going on, and so I don't always have that kind of time, and you have to make the time. It is what it is. You have to do it.
Well, keep that thought. As a new agent, you want older leads.
Right.
You want to spend more time on the phone because you're trying to learn the process.
Yes.
You don't want to be buying expensive leads when you're just trying to figure out the business. So we recommend that you do buy older leads. It's not necessarily the type of lead that you're looking at right now.
Right.
It's the quantity of the leads. Right. So the idea about working older leads is you can buy more leads with the same budget, not spend less.
Right.
But spend the same amount of money that you can carve out for your budgets. Get more leads because you're in the practice mode. Right. You're learning the process. And the only reason why anybody would pay more for a lead is to spend less time on the phone and to be able to book your week up. That's the bottom line. We talk about it all the time.
And then as you get better, you can't be a year down the road still trying to take still trying to do it that way. You've got to graduate yourself.
Training wheels are meant to be removed.
Right. Nobody, I mean, you don't see a whole lot of 40-year-olds with a bicycle with training wheels on.
Maybe only in Florida.
Maybe here, but they have bears.
Yeah.
Anyway, so my week, so where I'm at, my skill level dictates that I should really be working all newer leads. So we've been waiting for some of the newer leads in the areas that we're kind of transitioning to kind of catch up a little bit. And so I also added on some non-resident licenses, which is another hint. So I went to a couple of other states this week, which proved good, if only for my mental state, like to get out of some of the, again, not to pigeonhole myself a little too much. So I did, towards the second half of the week, work fresher leads, newer stuff, more expensive leads, but that's okay because I spent less time having to book my appointments up. And then wrote a couple of apps and have a couple of follow-ups. So all in all, the end of the week, I wish the entire week had been more like Thursday, because that would have been more ideal, but you know, not every week is.
Yeah, you had a callback this week. That's a rare thing. You had somebody you didn't close on the presentation.
Yeah, that's true.
And she called you back an hour later.
That was very true. That's a fun, see, like that. So people, I think that sometimes people on this video, or you know, you watch some other stuff on YouTube. I'm sure this isn't the only YouTube. Well, we're not on YouTube. What are we on?
YouTube.
Whatever.
Yep.
Oh, we are.
Yep.
So anyway, you know, you watch. I think if you watch videos about insurance or people that are doing this or what have you, and you see people that are polished or that are good or that have been doing it for a while, and you think that they, you know, their crap has never stunk, or you think that they are immune to disappointment or to things not going their way. And I'd actually almost forgotten about that woman. She's a very sweet woman from Jamaica. And so I went through the presentation, and again, you also have to be careful about having commission breath, even if you're not sitting across the table.
From Jamaica, but living in the United States, let's be clear.
What?
She's from Jamaica, but she's living in the United States.
Oh, yes, she's an American.
You're not selling life insurance.
No, I'm not selling Jamaicans life insurance. Anyway, so I went through the presentation with her, and again, it's not necessarily having commission breath, because you know, one application doesn't make or break our financial existence right now, but you know, when you're not writing apps, we're in the business of writing apps. I'm in the business of writing apps. So when you're not doing that, or when you have a couple of days where you don't do that, you start to get like, okay, let's close some of these people up. So I went through the presentation. It wasn't my best. It wasn't my worst. And we got to the end, and she wanted to think about it, and she wanted me to call her back tomorrow, and she said she'd call me back the next day, and she said, I promise I'll call you back. I promise I'll call you back. And you know, I just had run out of juice at that point of, you know, I just said, okay, fine. And like 10 minutes later, she sent me a text message and said, hey, how long does the application take? And here's another tip. So she had texted me that message, and I did not text her back. I called her back. So I called her back to answer her text question. Anytime you can get back on the phone with somebody, or back on Zoom or whatever virtual platform you're using, I would, to me...
By the way, we don't use Zoom
No.
in our virtual process. Unbeknownst to all the other competitors out there that are watching these videos that are using Zoom and think they got virtual nailed, they're wrong.
You're wrong. Anyway, so I equate that to this. When somebody texts a question back, they don't want to have to engage with you as much as if you were sitting in their kitchen table or if you were on the phone with them. So in order to force that, you have to call them back. I don't text back answers. So I called her back and I said, oh, hi, I got your text message. I said it was just easier for me to call you back. So I called her back and I said, you know, it takes like literally 10 minutes to do the application because I'm pretty fast. And she said, okay. And I said, well, did you want to go ahead and get that started? And she said, okay, all right. Okay, let's just do it. But in between the appointment and the callback, I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty frustrated at my desk.
Yeah.
I was really frustrated at my desk. I was sitting at my desk, really frustrated.
Yeah, you as the Bible says, God will not give you more than you can handle. And you were at that point at the end of your rope because it was you had a lot
Long
of.
week.
Yeah, was it more no shows or cancel? It wasn't really cancellations, no shows. Or they were rescheduling and because
it was like
home,
it was
I'm in
just
the car,
yeah,
I'm in the
I'm in the
restaurant,
car,
whatever.
yeah. Or they were just.
And that was
flat
part of
out
your
no shows.
lockdown process because I think you're getting too much of that stuff, and you already acknowledged that.
Yeah.
You really got to make sure that they're at home, not
Right.
I'm off from work with my wife, relaxed,
Right.
but sitting in a bar.
I ask when are you going to be
Yeah.
home? When you get
Yeah.
off work, when are you home?
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just a quirky week. And something else I discovered this week, which I thought was really, really important, and that is, you have to be really careful that you don't treat this business like a salad instead of like mashed potatoes. This business is not a salad. It really. Okay. You don't want to put like a little bit of everything together because what happens is it becomes very discombobulated. You want to be like mashed potatoes, kind of very consistent throughout the whole thing, right? Nice and smooth, comfortable. That's why mashed potatoes are a comfort food. Nobody ever says that a salad is their comfort food, I don't think. My mom would say that, but whatever. Anyway, so you have to be careful of that because what I was doing throughout a good part of last week.
Food if you're a rabbit.
That's true if you're a rabbit. Okay, anyway. Shiny object. Anyway. The real what had happened to me the last week and a half, to be quite frank, is I had really created this mixed salad of a script. And it just sounded awful. Like it sounded awful to me. So I can only imagine how it sounded to other people. And my booking ratio went way down. Like this week I was consistently hitting, I think the second half of the week I did, 2 days of 6 appointments a day, which is really the goal. And before that I was really struggling to get 3, 4, 5 maybe. And it's because my script was just so
Well, it's because you were on a call and you heard someone say, that sounds good.
Sounds good.
Maybe I'll put that in my script.
Oh, maybe
and
I'll add
all of a
that.
sudden you put it in there, you weren't comfortable, it didn't come across as confident when you were saying it to the client, and you got totally off base. This is the problem with people that are on calls that don't take the shopping cart approach, and they start implementing things into their process when their process wasn't broken to begin with.
Right.
And then you're so far off the
Right.
and then it doesn't come across as normal. It comes across as salesy, telemarketing, whatever, because you're not used to saying it, right? And all of a sudden you start not booking in as many appointments, and then once you do book, don't close, and all of a sudden you're way out in left field somewhere. I relate it to flying airplanes. Since I do fly airplanes, is that you can be 1 degree off, but the time you get to the destination, you're 15 degrees off. Right? The longer you go down that road, the further off course you get. And that's what Angela's week was this week. It's important to be with somebody that has a system, follow the system, exactly how it's taught, right? And then if you get off track because you've done something, you know how to get back. And that's exactly what Angela did. On Thursday, she went back to what she was doing that worked. She got away from the things that she had put in her shopping cart. She got away from those, went back to her old script, and things started clicking again. That's the power of being, with someone that has a time-tested and proven system, because everybody naturally does that. They start tweaking things to get better. I do it, and if you're all over the place and never doing the same thing twice, you'll be in that mode forever because you don't have a point of reference where it worked, and that's what happened. So you gotta be committed to a system and follow that system.
Yeah.
And then when you tweak it, you know where to go back to and get yourself on track and not be forever in that spinning cycle.
So what I ended up doing was going back to our
script.
Our script.
Yep.
Period.
Yep.
No. And I actually printed it back off, which I haven't had to do in a long time, but I got myself so twisted up that I was like, So I printed it off and I literally had it right in front of me. And you know what I decided? The only thing I did change was how I nailed down the appointment, how I kind of firmed up the appointment at the very end. So I added one sentence at the very end to firm up the appointment to kind of, what did you say? Lock it down, tie it down?
Lock it down.
But other than that, I went back to my old script. And you know what I said to myself? Look, it may not be all that sexy. It may not be the most sexy script in the universe. It may not even be the best script in the universe, but I know that it works. I know that it books appointments, and I know that when I'm saying it, I sound confident with it. Like I sound like I'm confident and I know what I'm doing. And that was huge. On that day, I booked 6 appointments.
Yeah, and that's important. And I don't want to, it's already a long video as it is. But that to me, that was the most powerful part of this entire video today. If you get anything out of this video, that's it. It is natural to start tweaking things over time that you hear on a call. But as Andrew said, you got to take the shopping cart approach. But the most important thing about all that is if you're not following the script, or you're with somebody that doesn't have a system to follow, you need to make the change now. 2022 is going to be an explosive year for virtual sales, right? If you're able to join an organization like ours that has a system that you can follow, that has a complete virtual platform, a complete virtual training platform, daily coaching calls, so you can get better every single day that you're willing to plug into, right? And you can book 6 to 8 appointments a day. There's no way you can't make $200,000 a year.
Yeah.
Virtually, 100%, from your RV, your hotel room on the beach, and on your Adirondack chair with your cell phone in your hand, even from a tough shed like I have on my video, right? Anywhere. That is the power of this, and like Andrew said earlier, is the great thing about virtual is that you can get a non-resident license anywhere and be able to call and dial those leads. So your business is not restricted by lead flow, right, or amount of leads in your area. Make sure you're with an IMO that has their own lead program that's not handing you a third-party vendor list. Hello? Okay, it's not the same, right? You need to have good quality direct mail leads. And that IMO has to be the one doing the mailing so they can control the quality and the quantity. That's what we have. And I'm adamant about it because we've been in this business for a long time. And that makes a difference. So anyway, that's it. That's it. It's a wrap. We'll keep you posted on the virtual stuff. Our content information is not a secret. If we can help answer any of your questions, you're shopping around looking for a place to go, or if you're somewhere where they don't have those things, and you are coachable, you've got a burning desire to succeed, you have a good work ethic, we want to talk to you. All right, have a great day, be safe, and hey, this COVID thing's still around, so stay healthy, and we'll talk to you soon. We love you guys, appreciate you being on the channel, and grateful that you share your time with us. Bye-bye.
Bye.